Well, hello and welcome to this English lesson where you get to ask questions and I try my best to answer them. In this lesson, I will put a link in the chat. Please use the link to ask your questions. I know that many of you, as you are learning English, have found that there's things you just don't know the answer to. There's little phrases you hear from a native speaker and you're wondering, what does that mean? So you look in your phrase dictionary or you look online and you just can't find the answer to it. So my hope with this small 1 hour session is that I can answer a lot of your questions. So before we get started, just let me check my audio. Looks like everything's working great. A few rules before we get started. Please only have English conversations in the chat. Having conversations in your own language, I know maybe helps a little bit, but it's better to just use English. It helps all of the people who are in the chat. They can read your English questions and sentences, and then you can have a nice English conversation. Please pay attention to what Todd and Dave tell you to do. Todd and Dave are our moderators. They help keep the chat friendly and nice, and just a great place for you to practice your English. So I'm sure there are questions ready to go. Let me check my question app and see what we have there. Usually at this point, there are already 4 or 5 questions ready to go. So let me see what I have here. Let's see here. The first question is from Athanasios, and Athanasios says, "Hi, Teacher Bob. How are you, sir? Okay, I have the words accomplice and complicit. Know the second one from your last live. Thank you." So when you're complicit, it means you're part of it. Okay. If you are an accomplice in a crime, it means that you are part of it as well. Often when someone commits a crime, let's say they go and they do something that's illegal. If you do it with them, you are their accomplice. In fact, if you do something that's against the law and after you do it, you hide at your parents' house, they are accomplices as well. So an accomplice is someone who is part of a crime, but maybe not directly part of that crime. Let's get to the next question. Next question is from Renata. Let me get it up on the screen here in a moment. I'm having trouble finding the button I need to click. Just give me 1 second here. I think I can find it. There we go. Oh, so something's popping up on my screen. Why don't I do a little audio check while I'm waiting for that question to show up? There we go. Now it's working. So the next question is from Renata, and Renata says, "Hello, Bob. Happy Halloween." Thank you. It's actually October 31st. It is Halloween this evening. Kids will be going out trick-or-treating in some parts of Canada, and in other parts they are staying home, depending on what the local restrictions are. Renata's question is this: pull an all-nighter and burn the midnight oil are synonyms, right? Is the latter very common nowadays? Thanks, sir. Yes, they are synonyms. They do mean the same thing. If you are a student, especially, oftentimes you will pull an all-nighter. That means you stay up all night studying, or you stay up all night writing a paper or an essay. Burn the midnight oil means the same thing, but I think it is a bit less common. I've heard the first phrase quite a bit. Students often say, "Oh, I pulled an all-nighter last night getting my project done." And the second one, if you said it, people would recognize it, but I don't think it's super common right now. I think it's less common than the first one. Let's get to the next question here. Next question is from Michal from Poland. "Hi, Bob. Thanks for your great English lessons." You're welcome. "My question is, have you ever been in any countries in Central Eastern Europe? If not, would you like to go?" I would like to travel a lot, but what prevents me from traveling is that I have a job. So I have to go to work every day. And I do need to work. Travel sounds fun, but it costs money. I'm at the stage in my life where I'm a dad and I have to work to support my family. So I probably work too much, but I think that's what mums and dads do. When you're in your late 40s and you have 5 children, you work a lot. So yes, someday I would love to visit many countries, including countries in Central Europe for sure. Let's see. Mary, the Iranian, says, "Hi, Teacher Bob. I'm wondering, What was the strangest thing you believed in when you were a child? So the strangest thing I believed in, Mary, was when I first watched Star Wars. Okay, I was probably about 9 or 10 years old. Star Wars came out in 1977. And when I first watched it, I was about 9 or 10 years old. I didn't get to see it in the theater, by the way. I had to watch it later on videotape. So I believe that maybe there was a force. Maybe if I really focused my mind, I could lift stuff with my mind. Of course, that didn't work at all. That was a silly thing to think, but that was probably the strangest thing that I believed when I was a child. Katarina has the next question. Hello, Bob. What is the difference between the following verbs? To restore, to renovate, to refurbish, and to repair. Thanks in advance. Let's do this. Let's start with the verb to repair. If your car breaks, you repair it. Okay. So if you have a car and you drive it every day and it breaks down, if there is a problem, you would repair your car, or you would have someone else repair it. When you refurbish something or restore something, it means it's really old and you try to make it like it's new again. Oftentimes people will take an old phone and they will refurbish it. That means they'll reset the phone, they'll clean it up, they'll make it look like it's new again. So that is to refurbish. Sometimes people will buy really, really old cars and they will restore the car. So they'll buy a car from maybe the 50s or the 60s and they will fix the car up so that it looks like it's brand new. So they will restore it. And then renovate, we usually use the verb renovate when we talk about our homes. Sometimes you will renovate a house or you will renovate part of your house. That means you'll kind of tear things off the wall and you'll put up new panels on the wall or new drywall, and you will renovate that part of your house. So 4 verbs there. Hopefully you got all of those definitions. Let's see here. Next question is from Johnny from Brazil. Johnny says, hi, Bob. Today, I just would like to know, what does it mean to have a bubbly personality? Thanks for all the work you've been doing to teach us English. You're superb. So when you're bubbly, it means you're enthusiastic, you're happy, and usually all the time. Okay. So oftentimes, sorry, my nose is itchy again. Whenever I do am I allergic to live streams? So my nose gets itchy whenever I do a live stream. Anyways, usually someone who is bubbly is happy. They're in any situation, they're just joyful. And you can just tell by the things they do and say. They're the kind of people where it's fun to be around them because they are very, very happy and very, very joyful. Hey, I do want to pause and say hello to the 383 people who are watching. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Bob the Canadian. If you would like to subscribe to my channel, there is a button there. I do English lessons all the time on YouTube. I love teaching English. I do 2 live lessons a week and I do 1 video each week. If that is something that interests you, then click that button. Don't click that button. There's no button over there. Click the one that's right there. That would be helpful for you. But anyways, welcome to this live lesson and welcome also to all of my members, those who have their names in green over there in the chat. Eduardo has the next question. Hi, Bob. Good morning. What's the difference between as and like? Please give an example. Thanks. So as much as I would like to give you an example, see, that was kind of an example right there. We use as in a lot of ways. Like he was as fast as me. We had a race and he was as fast as me. I drink tea as much as I drink coffee. That's not true, by the way. Actually, that might be true. I think I have a cup of tea and a cup of coffee a day. So very similar. But if I was to say he runs like a leopard or he runs like a horse, I'm comparing him now to a horse. So a couple of examples there. But Eduardo, I do have to tell you, the difference between as and like is vast. Okay, so you will need to keep studying that. Very hard to explain quickly in a simple live stream. Let's see here. Next question is not a question, but it's from Katarina, and it says, hello, my dear teacher Bob. Today I have no question, but I was ill for 2 weeks. I want to wish everyone to be healthy and happy every second of your life, and I love everyone. So thanks, Katarina. I'm glad to hear. I think it sounds like you're better. It sounds like you were sick a few weeks ago for 2 weeks. So I hope you're feeling much better now, and thank you for the kind words and the kind wishes. Let's see here. Next difference. Next question is from Donnie. How's it going, Uncle Bob? Thanks for calling me Uncle Bob. That is what we would call an honorific, I guess, in English, or a pet name or nickname. Probably nickname is the best one. So I know in some parts of the world, you guys call me Uncle Bob. Question is, can you tell me the meaning of homie and home run? I hope you're having a great Halloween day. So homie is a slang way to refer to a friend. So you might say that your friends are your homies. It's not very common. I actually think the word was a little more common in movies and on television about 5 or 6 years ago. Now the more common word might be bro, or I think in French you say mec. But anyways, so it means a friend. You don't need to know that word to use it. Using it would just sound kind of weird because it is slang. And then home run. So a home run is two things. Literally, a home run is in baseball when you hit the ball so far it goes over the wall, and then you get to run to first base, second base, third base, and home. So you've hit a home run. We also use this phrase in life when you've done something successful. So let's say you need to give a speech somewhere, and you give the speech and people love it. You could say, oh, I hit a home run, which means that basically everyone loved what you did. So there you go. Let's see here. Bilal has the question. Hello, sir. Could this sentence, I couldn't do that, talk about both present and past? Yes. So here's something very interesting. If someone said to me, Bob, you need, last week I wanted you to rob a store, I could say, oh, I couldn't do that. So that means that I wouldn't do it in the future. I wouldn't do it right now. It doesn't exactly mean the past in that sense, though. When I was asked to do something illegal, I couldn't do that. Yes, that can be the past as well. So it's a weird phrase because you're basically just indicating a condition, something that you could not do. So I could say last week I couldn't tie my shoes. Right now I can't tie my shoes. Next week I won't be able to tie my shoes. So that's the official way to use it. But technically, we can flip it around quite a few different ways, that sentence. English is weird though, eh? We use different tenses when we're imagining a conversation. So I don't want to get too far into that, but if you imagine a conversation in the future, you can use the present tense. Don't get too confused. It's a weird language anyways, but that's certainly true. Banana King says, hello, Teacher Bob. How many bananas do you eat every day? So I did fix the question just a little bit. Hello, Teacher Bob. How many bananas do you eat every day? I eat one. Occasionally I eat two, but that's rare. But I definitely eat one banana a day. Sometimes we're out of bananas, and so that day I don't get to eat one. But generally I eat a banana every day. Usually it's my morning snack. So if we are out of bananas and I'm at work, sometimes I'll drive to the grocery store quick and get a banana for my morning snack. So definitely like bananas. Thank you again to everyone who lives in a country that grows bananas and sends them to Canada. That's probably about a third of you. So many of our bananas come from countries where you live. So thank you for the bananas. Let's see here. Famida has the next question, and Famida says, how often do you use shall in comparison to will? Thank you, Teacher Bob. So shall sounds really old-fashioned and formal, like I shall do a live stream every Friday and Saturday for the rest of my life. I shall teach people English for as long as I possibly can. It sounds very formal, and we don't use it very often. We often just say will, or we say we're going to. I will teach English lessons for a very long time. I will do 2 live streams a week. I will teach people English on YouTube. So shall has this, I was going to say pompous, but it's not really pompous. It sounds a little old, okay? If someone said to me, Teacher Bob, I'm not sure what my homework is. What shall I do this evening? It's just very rigid and very formal and sounds quite old, actually. Let's see here. Kafka has the next question. And the question is this. Hi, Bob. Thanks for your great teaching. Please explain the difference between whereas and meanwhile. So I made a few corrections while I read that. please explain the difference, singular, between whereas and meanwhile. So I like to use whereas at the beginning of the sentence, like whereas drinking water is good for you, I like to drink soda sometimes as well. Whereas exercise is good for me, sometimes I just feel like sitting at home. Meanwhile is used to talk about something that's happening at the same time. So then I would say, meanwhile, I was walking along the road. Meanwhile, Jen was working. Okay. So it's just to talk about two actions that are happening at the same time. Let's see here. Next question is from Ruslan, and Ruslan says, hello, Teacher Bob. How are you today? I'm good today, by the way, Ruslan. Thank you so much for asking. Which Canadian city do you like most? I'm going to insert a word there. I think you just forgot one. Which Canadian city do you like most? Toronto or Vancouver? Best wishes, sir. I like Toronto better, I guess. I don't like to annoy people in Vancouver, but I really like Toronto. And as I mentioned, I think last week, I usually go to Toronto every year around this time. I usually go for a little meeting with other YouTubers. It's lots of fun. This year I won't be going, so I am sad. So given the choice, I would choose Toronto. Yes. Let's see here. Next question is from Fabio from Italy. What's the difference between engagement and commitment? Thanks a lot. So engagement generally in English is used to talk about two people who have decided that they are going to get married. So usually one person proposes to the other person says yes, and then we say that they are engaged. They might have an engagement party, but the time from when they agree to get married until the day they get married, we would say that's their engagement. Okay, so they are engaged. It has other uses, right? Like to engage, like you can engage a motor, but generally engagement is used to refer to two people who are going to get married. Commitment is anytime you promise something. So if I make a commitment at work that I'm going to grade all my student quizzes the day they write the quiz, that would be a commitment. So I made a promise or a commitment. So slightly different, but somewhat related as well. Hey, I do want to remind people that if you ask questions in the chat, I won't answer them. I don't have time to read all the chat and pick the questions out. So please use the form. I'm moving through it at a fairly good speed today. So I'm just going to keep moving along with that. The link will be shared by Dave or Todd or Nightbot. Let me just do something. Let me check something here. Let me see if I can. I'm playing around with stuff. I shouldn't do that, should I, while I'm live streaming? I saw Brent do this in his live stream today. I forgot that I can pin things. So yes, Brent, by the way, I was stepping into your live stream today. I didn't say hi, but I did watch for a little bit. By the way, Brent is American English with this guy, and he's in the chat right now. He's often in the chat. Very helpful guy, has a YouTube channel. You should visit it as well. Let's get to the next question. Chen says, hi, Teacher Bob. Long time no see. Hi, Chen. What does the so on mean? Thanks, Teacher Bob. Have a good night. Let me see here. I'm not sure, but we do use and so on at the end. Like if we're telling a long story, we might say, and then he ate a cookie and then he ate a drink and so on and so on. When you say and so on, it means that there's more to the story, but it's not very important. Okay. Like you could say something like, oh, my cousin, the other day, my cousin came over and he talked about his job and he talked about his new business and he talked about this and so on and so on. So you're just saying the story repeated itself and kept going. Let's see here. Brett says, oh no, I did talk about you. All good things. I'm sure it was, for sure. Let me see here. Next question is from Dora from Myanmar. Hi, Dora. Hello, Mr. Bob. Happy Halloween. Thank you. I'd like to know the meaning of this idiom. Some small companies have taken a hammering during the pandemic. Thanks. So a hammer is a tool you use to put in a nail. When we describe a situation where a person or a business takes a hammering, It means that business isn't good, okay? So if our flower business this summer, if we sold way less flowers than normal, we would say that we took a hammering, okay? So when you take a hammering, it means the situation has changed to the point where your business isn't doing super good, okay? So that is what taking a hammering. It's not good to take a hammering. The restaurant industry in Canada has taken a hammering during the COVID pandemic for sure. Let's see here. I think I just missed something. I'm clicking in too many spots. That's fine. I have too many tabs open on my computer. Do you ever do that? Next question is from Cornelia. Hello, Teacher Bob. Hi, Cornelia. What is the difference between the verbs to postpone and to procrastinate, and between to fulfill and to implement? So when you postpone something, it's usually legitimate. It's usually okay. So let's say I have a dentist appointment, but I realize I have a meeting at work that day. I can postpone the meeting, or I can postpone the dentist appointment. So it's a formal thing that you do when you need to do something at a different time than what you originally agreed on. There's nothing wrong with postponing things once or twice. Procrastinating is when you know you have to get something done and you just don't work on it. You just work on other stuff, okay? So when you procrastinate, it's like you know you need to study for a test, but instead you watch Netflix and then you eat a snack and then you go for a walk. So instead of actually studying, you do all these other things instead. So it's okay to postpone things. It's not a good idea to procrastinate. Procrastinating is usually not a good thing. Let me just check something here. Good. And then what was the second part? To fulfill and to implement. When you fulfill something, it means you do it. So if you made a promise that you were going to learn English every day for a week, in order to fulfill that promise, you would actually need to do that. When you implement something, it means you actually do it. So if you said, I'm going to read every day for an hour for a week, and then if you implement that plan, it means you actually do what you said you were going to do. Let's see here. Next question is from Rod. Let me get this question up. Rod, the Brazilian English teacher, says, how are you today, Mr. Bob? I'm good, Rod. I hope you're doing well as well. How many pronunciations are there for the word organization? Thank you so much for everything. You're such a legend. Have a great weekend. Well, let's wait before we give me legendary status. Organization, in my mind, only has one pronunciation. It's a large organization. There are many organizations. Organization, yes. I'm pretty sure it is just one pronunciation. I'll have to double check after the lesson though, Rod, to make sure and to see what that's all about. By the way, Rod's asking a question. You do know that Rod is also an English teacher here on YouTube. He has a YouTube channel called Rod, the Brazilian English Teacher. You should check it out. You should check it out later today. You might see a familiar face there. Maybe today. I think it might be today. I'm not sure, Rod. Maybe it's today. I sometimes get my dates mixed up, but you should check out Rod's channel regardless. Next question is from Lolly Lolly, and she said, Lolly Lolly just gave a super chat that says, thank you for all, at the same time as I put her question up. That's a cool coincidence. She says, s'il te plaît, which means please in French. S'il te plaît, Bob. Quelle est la différence entre? What is the difference between sarcasm and irony? Thanks, and joyeux Halloween. I said Halloween like I was French. Halloween, no H. Anyways, this is a hard one to explain. Sarcasm is what we would call very dry humor. It's when you make a joke that maybe isn't hilarious, but it points out the reality of the situation in a funny way, maybe even in a mocking way, and maybe a little bit insulting. So if you said something to someone like, nice haircut, you're saying that their haircut is nice, but you might also be saying you don't like it. So sarcasm is kind of interesting. Irony is when I think the opposite happens than what you are expecting. So it would be ironic if, I'm having trouble thinking of something ironic right now. Maybe one of our English speakers in the chat could give an example of something that's ironic. a situation where something turns out differently than what you expected. Let's see here. Next question is from Bam. And Bam says, "Hi, Sir Bob." Hi, Bam. "I've been following you since 2018. Very cool. Thank you. That's very awesome. I forget sometimes how long I've been doing this. I feel like I am living in Canada too. Haha. By the way, do I need to take and pass IELTS to go there?" So in order to move to Canada, I'm not 100% sure what the language proficiency requirement is. I think you do have to have some knowledge of English or French to move to Canada, or it at least helps to have some knowledge. What I can tell you though is that Canada just announced yesterday that 1.3 million more people can immigrate to Canada before the end of 2023. Did you hear that? 1.3 million people can move to Canada from other countries before the end of 2023. So I think we're allowing over almost 500,000 immigrants into our country every year for the next 3 years. It's a lot of people. So anyways, I look forward to seeing some of you move here. Welcome to Canada. But I don't know much about the English test. If you do a search online, Bam, for requirements for immigrating to Canada, you will find some information about that. Let's see here. Next question is from Eli. "Hey, Bob, how are you doing?" I'm doing well, Eli. "It's been a while since I watched a live lesson." Well, welcome back. "I'm glad to have this opportunity to learn from you. Thanks a lot. Have a very nice weekend." Well, Eli, I hope you have a very good weekend as well. Thank you so much for watching. And people do stop watching my videos for a while and then they come back. I think it's pretty natural. Sometimes you get tired of learning English and you need a break. Maybe you find another YouTuber that's just a little more enjoyable than me. That's fine too. But welcome back, Eli. That's awesome of you. And for the 583 people who are currently watching, hi, I'm Bob the Canadian. I make English lessons here on YouTube. If you want to be notified when I make them, there is a subscribe button right there. You can click it. Let's see here. Next question. Yazan from Kurdistan says, "Oh, hello, Bobby from Iraqi Kurdistan. You may not know that I am a huge fan. I support you all the way, and I've been with you all along since the surgery." Well, that's a long time, definitely. So that's from 2018 as well. For those of you that don't know, I was excitedly making YouTube videos in 2018, and then something went wrong with my heart. I had a valve problem, and I had to have heart surgery. That was a weird time in my life because I was only at the time, I was going to say my age. I was in my mid-40s at the time, and I didn't feel very old. In fact, when I went to the hospital, I was one of the youngest people there for heart surgery. So anyways, I'm through that. I feel really healthy. I walk every day now. So Yazan, thank you so much for being a fan, for being an English learner, and for following me. Let's see here. Next question is from Johan from Quebec. "Hi, Bob. I would like to know if you say there's no bathrooms around here, do you put an S on bathroom?" So if I was somewhere like at a store or a mall and I said, "Oh, there's no bathrooms around here," yeah, I would put the S on. You could say there's no bathroom here, but you would probably say there's no bathrooms. You could actually say both. Absolutely say both. And they would both be completely acceptable. Let me see here. I need to make a small change to the chat. Give me one moment. So this is the point in the lesson. Let me go here. This is the point in the lesson where the chat becomes members only. So if you are someone who supports my channel, you may now ask questions directly in the chat. You are welcome to do that. If you are not a member, there is a join button below if you would like to support me. It's totally your choice. I also pinned the link in the chat if you wanted to become a member. Again, no pressure. But thank you to those of you who are members. I will now take questions from you directly in the chat. First one is from Rod. "Mr. Bob, the cat is getting out of the bag only next week," if you know what I mean. So Rod is just saying that it might be a little longer than what I was saying. But when the cat gets out of the bag, it means a secret is getting out. Let's see here. Panthera Nori says, oh, she's just giving Rod a smiley face. Awesome. Corey J says, Bob, please, when it comes to using the expression to make a leaving, does it make sense to say to make my leaving? I mean, when I want to talk about myself, thanks for your awesome job. So let me just try to get this straight. You're talking about when you are going to leave, when you need to leave from somewhere. So we wouldn't say make a leaving. We would say something like, I need to get going. I need to leave. I have to meet someone. I need to head out. I need to go now. All of those would be the common things to say when you are leaving somewhere. Unless you're talking about quitting your job, then you say that you're going to be quitting your job. Norma says, American English with this guy, there is a great song by the Canadian Alanis Morissette, Ironic. Someone once told me, though, that a lot of the things in that song aren't actually ironic. They're just coincidental. But you should still listen to it. It's a good song, for sure. Daniel Brock says, hey, here we go. Thanks, Daniel. Brent says, and literally nothing in the song is ironic, which is actually ironic. Thanks, Brent. I didn't read Brent's comment, first of all. Sam the Taiwanese, hi, Teacher Bob. The video about writing is awesome. In your opinion, is there any difference between writing on a paper and typing on a laptop or a computer? Which one is more effective? I think it depends what you're doing. For instance, let's say you are sending an email or chatting with someone. Obviously, the computer is more efficient and you get help with your grammar and your spelling. So there's a huge advantage to using a computer when you're writing in a way that someone else is going to read it quickly, especially if you're texting on your phone or texting on your computer. It just makes more sense. I think, though, in the writing process, there is a lot of value to writing something out by hand, or at least getting your ideas on paper with a pencil. I often use the computer to write, but before I do that, I often make little diagrams and pictures on a piece of paper by hand. It helps me get my ideas out. So hopefully that helped. Anuat, thank you so much for becoming a member. You're awesome. Very cool. And Lolly says, could you tell me the difference between into and onto? So I get into my car when I want to drive somewhere. You can also just say I get in my car. And I could say I bought something that was so big I had to put it onto the roof of my car and then tie it down with straps. You could also say I needed to put it on the roof of my car. So onto and into, they sound cool, but they're not always necessary. So hopefully that helped, Lolly. Julia Olise, hi dear teacher, happy Halloween. Could you please explain the phrase, it's time to go big or go home? So this refers to when you need to do something. And let's say you were starting a YouTube channel and you didn't have a camera. And you could buy a $100 camera or you could buy a $1,000 camera. Someone might say to you, you know, the $1,000 camera is better and it's better to go big or go home. And what they mean by that is it's better to buy the more expensive thing. Corey J says, I mean, gagner sa vie. So, qu'est-ce que tu fais dans la vie? Gagner la vie. I'm actually struggling with that, Corey. To win your life, to earn a living. To earn a living. Is that what you're talking about? Maybe. My living, to make a living. Yes. Thank you very much for the clarification. Yes. Let me get back to your question. When it comes to using the expression to make a living, does it make sense to say I need to make my living? To me, yes, that makes more sense. So we usually just say to make a living. I work because I need to make a living. Okay. Many people who don't have jobs find it hard to make a living. So it simply means, again, that you're trying to make ends meet. You're trying to earn money. So we wouldn't say make my living. No. Thanks for the clarification. Awesome. Let me see here. Just explain the phrase, it's time to go big or go home. Panthera Nori, Teacher Bob, to blow one's top means the same as to bristle or to fly into a rage. Yes, when you blow your top, it means you get angry. Lolly is welcoming Anuat. Thanks, Lolly, for welcoming. And then Corey J, I got it. Good. Daniel Brock. Yes, he said my name. Love his classes. Thanks, Mr. Bob. You're amazing, and I'm learning a lot with you. Well, thanks, Daniel. That is awesome of you. Madi is here. Hi, Madi. Teacher, you're wearing slight clothes is not good. Well, I'm wearing casual clothes. It's a dress down day for me here at home, Marty. I just thought I'd wear a t-shirt today. I'm getting tired of my blue short sleeve shirts. I feel like I haven't been shopping in almost 7 months, and I need some new ones, I think. Panthera Nori, dear teacher, the phrase keep your hair on means the same as hold your horses. So we usually say keep your hat on. Okay. Um, I haven't heard keep your hair on, but it does make me laugh a little bit. It's a funny image, keep your hair on. But we usually say, hey, keep your hat on or hold your horses, and both mean to be patient. Let's see here. Rod says, anyway, if you allow me, I'm going live on YouTube for the first time tomorrow. Thank you, sir. So Rod, the Brazilian English teacher, is going live on YouTube tomorrow. For more information, search for his channel on YouTube and go visit and see what all the details are. Lolly says, merci, Bob. Brent says, will you be handing out candy tonight for Halloween? No. So in Ontario, there are areas where kids are allowed to trick or treat and areas where they are not allowed to trick or treat. In our area, people are allowed to go trick or treating, but we've decided to just kind of close down. We're going to turn all the lights off and not hand out candy. We only get about 2 or 3 kids at our house anyways. So we'll probably just drop off some candies at that person's house for those kids. So no, we're not going out. Let me see here. Where am I? Kyle Ferreira says, hi, Teacher Bob. Thanks for the class. I'd like to know what means send shivers down my spine. So when something's really exciting or really scary, you sometimes say it sends shivers down your spine. Okay. So often at Halloween, people will go and visit a haunted house. It's a place where you go and you pay people to scare you. I don't really go very often, but you could say that you're so scared that it sent shivers down your spine. You can also go to a concert and hear a beautiful song and say, oh, it sent shivers down my spine. So it can mean excitement. It can also mean fear. Let's see here. Madi wishes Rod good luck. Thank you for wishing him good luck, Madi. That's awesome. Let's see here. Sam, the Taiwanese, gagne sa vie, earn for a living. Thanks, Lolly. Panthera Nori's talking to Sam, Madi. Julia says, thank you for answering my question. No problem. Panthera says, thank you for all the answers, dear Teacher Bob. No problem, Panthera. Let's see here. Lolly is told by Madi, no French in the English live stream. That's my fault. C'est ma faute. C'est moi qui a commencé à parler français. It was me who started with the French. So sorry about that. Let's see here. Yeah, so I'm going to go to the bank of questions right now. I'll probably switch off members only chat in just a bit. I don't know. So Sachin or Sashin, sorry, now I'm going to pronounce it wrong both times. I don't know the meaning of that word. It looks like some sort of strange medical word, and I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, but you're in good company. I pronounce almost everybody's name wrong during these live streams. Let's see here. Brent says, closing areas to trick-or-treating will funnel children into a smaller area. That makes sense. We do the same here in the US. Yeah, sometimes, Brent, I'm not sure of the logic of local closing down local things. We had a problem here where they shut down parts of Toronto. They closed the restaurants, but then people just went outside of Toronto to the restaurants, which in my opinion might have spread more COVID. So I don't know what the logic is sometimes. Let's see here. Let me go back to my next question. Kismo says, hi, Teacher Bob. How are you? I've just realized that your province is 2 times as big as my country, Thailand. Why is it hard to pronounce Canada's province, Saskatchewan? So first of all, Canada is a very large country, but the interesting thing is almost everyone lives within 100 kilometers of the US border. Okay, I think it's around 70 or 80% of the population of Canada lives within 100 kilometers of the US border. So a vast amount of our country is very cold and very wild, and not a lot of people live there. And why is it hard to pronounce Saskatchewan? It's just a hard name. If you think about it, it's Saskatchewan. If you say it slowly. So individually, it's a little easier. Saskatchewan. There you go. A nice slow pronunciation of that province. At least Alberta and Manitoba are easier to pronounce. Let's see here. Next question is from Warwick. Hello, Teacher Bob. Should we completely follow the speaking notes to express ideas during the presentation? Because I want to express my ideas in a highly organized way. So when I have students in my class do presentations, I often recommend that they have notes, but that they do not read the notes too often. You need to practice a lot before you do a presentation so that you can be free of the notes. If you look down once or twice every minute to kind of refresh where you are, that's totally fine. But you need to practice a presentation enough that you can speak freely and make eye contact with people while you're talking. The same goes for if you're doing a PowerPoint presentation or a slide presentation. You certainly don't want to read every word that's on the screen. You want to talk to the people who you are presenting to. Let me go back to my chat. So Nate Indy is here. Hi, Bob. I'm back. Hi, Nate Indy. Good to see you again. Let's see here. A lot of you are having conversations, which is great. I'm just searching if there are any other questions. I don't see a lot. So I'm going to switch off. Give me 2 seconds. I'm going to turn off members only chat and allow all chat again. I think I have that done right. And I do want to once again just say thank you so much to those of you who are members. It's just fun to see you every week chatting to each other. I know we don't get to talk a lot. I do chat a little bit before the live streams. I say hi and I greet you, but it is appreciated that you are supporting me in the work I'm doing. If any of you want to support me, there is a join button down below. And if not, there is also a subscribe button there, which is totally free. Let's see here. Let me get to the next question. Before I do, I want to say hi to Modine in the chat. Hi, Modine. It's good to see you. Let's see here. So Jalali says, Dear Sir, I have 2 questions. What does this expression mean? It was a blessing in disguise. And what is the difference between present perfect simple and continuous? So I'm going to avoid the grammar question because I always answer them wrong. I am going to answer the blessing in disguise though. If something bad happens in your life, but it actually leads to something good happening, we say that it was a blessing in disguise. The best example would be if you lose your job. If your boss all of a sudden comes in and says, you're fired, take all of your stuff and go home at the end of the day, that's a bad thing. But it may lead to you getting a better job. So later in life, you might look back and say, 2 years ago when I lost my job, that was a blessing in disguise because I ended up getting a way better job. Okay. So there you go. Let's get to the next question from Corey J. So Corey from France says, hi, everybody. Bob, please, could you tell me if the phrasal verbs turn out and figure out are interchangeable? Thanks for helping us. So when something turns out good, it ends up being good. Like if you think, oh, I have to visit this person and I don't really like them, and then you go and you have a great conversation, you could say, oh, you know what? The visit actually turned out really good. Maybe you're not sure if you're going to like your new job and you're really worried the first day is going to be bad, but everyone at your new job is friendly and welcoming. You could say, you know what? The day turned out really nice. So turn out is definitely different. You could say, I baked cookies and I left them in for too long, but they still turned out fine. So it just means that the result was, you're talking about the result. When you figure out something, it means you solve it. If someone says, I always use the example that there's a cookie missing and you need to figure out who ate it. Or maybe your car is making a funny noise and you need to figure out what is wrong. So it simply means that you are trying to solve a small problem or discover what is going wrong. I do have to say hi to the 638 people watching. Always blown away a little bit by how many people are there. I like to pretend there's 5 people watching. It makes me a little more calm. But welcome to all 638 of you. If you're new here, there is a subscribe button there. You should click it. By the way, I'm Bob the Canadian. I do little English lessons on YouTube a few times a week. If you subscribe, you'll get notified when one of those new lessons happens. Let's get to the next question, though. Let's see here. Natalia says, greetings. What is the break from activities called? Is it called differently? Or is it called something different at work and at school? I have found the new word recess and am wondering how to use it. So at work, you have a break, okay? Sometimes we call it a coffee break. Every morning at around 10 o'clock, 10:30. At my work, I have a break. I call it a coffee break, even though I don't drink coffee. So on my coffee break on Tuesdays, I have regularly been talking to Rod, the Brazilian English teacher. He's in the chat. Rod and I talk during my coffee break. But I don't drink coffee while I talk to Rod. I actually drink water. So you would call it a break or a coffee break. At school, kids go out for recess. So recess is a break at school. Usually it means they're outside and playing on the playground, okay? Sometimes when it's raining, they'll have indoor recess, which most teachers don't like. Teachers love it when the kids go outside for recess because the teachers need a break. So notice the difference there. When kids go out for recess, they're taking a break from school, but the teachers are having usually a coffee break. So that's the difference between those two. Let's see here. We have Ardin, who says, how are you doing, Teacher Bob? I'm so happy I can join in your live lesson. My question is about pronunciation. Are these words homophones? Air and air, ham and hem. Thanks. So air and air are pronounced the same way. We breathe air, right? We breathe in and out. We breathe air. When you are the son or daughter of someone, like a king or queen, you are the heir, okay? They're pronounced the same. Ham is meat that's made from a pig, ham. So you can have a ham sandwich. You can go and buy a submarine sandwich or a sub and get ham on it. When you have a piece of clothing and you fold it and stitch it, it's a hem. Okay, so notice the difference again. You eat ham and you hem clothes. It's a slightly different pronunciation. You eat ham and you hem clothes. Hopefully you could hear the difference between those two. Let's see here. Pepe Rojas says, hi, Bob. What are the meanings of along, take on, and giveaway? Thanks so much. So I did a lesson yesterday on the city versus the country, and I said along the side of the road in the city, or along the street in the city, there is a sidewalk. Along the road in the country, there is a ditch. So it kind of means like in the same place. So along also can be used for time. You could say something like, I was eating breakfast and all along Jen was eating breakfast as well. So it means that at the same time. To take on something means to start doing it. So when you take on a job or when you take on a project or when you take on a new task, it means you've decided to do it, okay? So you could say, oh, I'm going to take on a new challenge. I'm going to work on my English for 1 hour every day. We would say that you are taking on the challenge. And then give away means to just give something. So if I say, you know what, I don't need that coat anymore. I might give away that coat. It means I'm going to give it to someone. If you put give and away together to make one word, a giveaway, it is a contest. So I had a giveaway on this YouTube channel a few months ago where I gave away free English lessons. That was called a giveaway. Let's see here. Yes. So Sarayo says, hello, dear teacher. Could you explain the word literally? Because English native speakers use it a lot. Thank you in advance. We love your teaching strategies. So yes, English teachers literally use the word literally all the time. English speakers, English teachers. I use it a lot because sometimes we say things and we actually mean something else. But when you look at it literally, it means something different. So this is a bad explanation. Let me think of a good example. If I say, I'm going to talk about naps again. If I say every Saturday afternoon, I sleep for hours, that's not actually true. Usually on Saturday afternoons, I literally sleep for about 30 minutes. So when I say literally, I mean the actual truth, not the exaggeration. If I say people literally eat their hamburger and throw the wrapper out every single time, I mean that they do it every single time. So anyways, literally means what really happened. Figuratively means an exaggeration or something that's not 100% factual. The problem is some young people in English use the word literally and they're not actually talking about something literally. So that's what makes it tricky. When an English teacher says it literally means this, that's like the real definition of the phrase. But then they say figuratively, it might mean this. Hopefully that helps, Ryo. I feel like I'm getting close to the 1 hour mark and it's harder to explain things. I do want to thank Oleg for the super chat. Thank you so much. Hello, dear Bob. I am Oleg from Siberia. How are you? What is the traditional dish for Halloween in Canada? Do you decorate your house on Halloween? We have a few jack-o'-lanterns outside. We have a few pumpkins that the kids carved and they will put a candle inside of it. But that's all we do. And traditional dish, there's no traditional dish, but there is a lot of candy, a lot of chocolate and a lot of sweets at Halloween, Oleg. Those would be the two things that are most common. You asked about decorating the house. Many people do decorate their house. They'll put pumpkins and straw bales and potted plants, and maybe they'll put up like some ghosts or some scary things outside. But that definitely does happen. We don't do it. We're just lazy. We would probably do it more, but we haven't. Let's see here. I'm going to skip the next one from Maro. Sorry, Maro. It's a very grammar related question, so I'm just going to skip that one. Margaretha says, hi, Teacher Bob. Please explain what stat refers to when we use it at the end of a sentence. For example, I need a medical team here, stat. So stat is used to mean immediately. It's used a lot in hospitals, maybe, but for sure it's used a lot on television shows that take place in hospitals. They'll say, we need a bed in here, stat. We need a supply of oxygen, stat. And they mean that they need it immediately. That's all it means. Let's go here. Fatima. Oh, yes, this is a good one. So Fatima says, hello, Mr. Bob. I hope you're doing well. I am. Thank you for asking. Thank you for your great efforts. My question is how to speak with absolute confidence without feeling shame or making mistakes. So first of all, you have to find someone to talk to regularly who doesn't care if you make mistakes. So you need to find an English speaking partner who literally doesn't make you feel bad if you make mistakes, where it's just not a big deal. I mean, you're going to make mistakes, so don't worry about it. So find someone who's very welcoming. The second thing is prepare for those conversations. Practice having pretend conversations yourself as many times as you can. But the best way to speak confidently is to find a partner who you can talk to regularly, like once or twice a week, where you just make mistakes and it doesn't matter. So I recommend that you find someone on a website called Preply. There's a link down in the description. You'll have to pay, but you can find a person that you can have a conversation with. It's just really helpful. Have more conversations. Have them with people who are very kind and don't mind that you're making mistakes. That's just super helpful. Let's see here. Alexi says, hi, Bob. I am from Canada as well. What is your favorite Canadian city and your least favorite Canadian city? Also, what city in the world do you want to visit the most? So let's get the last part out of the way first. I know many of you would love it if I said a city in your country, but I probably won't. The city I want to visit the most is Paris, France. So I would really love to visit France. And I would really love to visit Paris. The reason is not because I think it is the best country or best city in the world. I think it's a great place. I want to visit France because I've spent so much time learning the French language. I would love to visit someday. What is my favorite Canadian city? I do love Toronto. I wouldn't say it is my favorite city over every other city. It's one of my top 5 favorite cities. It's close to number 1. I like Ottawa too, though, our capital. It's very nice. And I won't tell you what my least favorite Canadian city is. There probably is one, but I just don't want to be unkind. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Next question is from Panthera Nori. Hi, Panthera. Hi, dear teacher Bob. The word blunt means that someone is speaking in an unfriendly manner, but he is still right and says true things. E.g., your boss can be blunt to you. So, Panthera, it depends on who's doing it. So when my friend talks to me and when he's very blunt, he's not unfriendly. Because he's my friend, I like it when he's blunt with me. But sometimes people will be very blunt and it can be unfriendly. But certainly when someone speaks bluntly or when someone is blunt, they are going to tell you the truth. They are most likely 99% of the time correct. And they are just going to tell you in very short, direct sentences. So someone who is blunt, it doesn't mean they're unfriendly or unkind, but they certainly aren't warm when they're doing it. But yes, I prefer friends who are blunt, by the way. I like it when my friends are blunt. Just say it like it is. That's another thing we say in English. Let me see here. Not sure about the next question, so I'm going to skip it, Arena. Sorry about that. It's a question where I'm not quite sure what the answer is. I'm just checking my list for a sec, everybody, just to see. I'm probably not going to get through all the questions, but I'll keep at it for another 5 minutes or so. Let's see here. Abdikani says, hello, teacher Bob. What is the meaning of a devoted person? Little fix there. Thank you. What is the meaning of a devoted person? A devoted person is someone who just is there for you all the time. A great example would be, let's say that you were sick and you were married. And if when you were sick, your spouse helped you every day, they took care of you, they were just really friendly, they were kind, they got groceries, they cooked food for you, and they just took care of you while you were sick, we would say they're a very devoted person, okay? As opposed to if you were sick, you might have friends who didn't visit while you were sick. We would say they're not very devoted. So a devoted person is someone who is there for you when they need to be. So I just noticed that we just went over 700 viewers. I'm going to point to the subscribe button again. Welcome to all of you who are watching. I am Bob the Canadian. I regularly do these live lessons where I try to answer your questions. Welcome. Thanks for being here. I'm an English teacher here on YouTube. So watch a few more of my videos if you're interested and get a sense as to whether you like me as a teacher. And then stick around if you do like it. So let me get to the next question, though. Aline says, hi, Bob. I'm from Brazil. I'd like you to talk about some vocabulary of Halloween. Thank you. So a really quick Halloween vocabulary lesson. Kids dress up. Kids wear costumes. So when you dress up or wear a costume, maybe you're Superman, maybe you dress up as Iron Man, maybe you dress up as Captain Marvel, but you dress up as some kind of character. You go out trick-or-treating. Trick-or-treating is when you go up to a house and you ring the doorbell and you hold up a bag and you say trick-or-treat, and the people will give you candy or chocolate bars or candy bars, just all those kinds of things that kids like eating. It's on October 31st. People often will carve pumpkins and make a jack-o'-lantern. A jack-o'-lantern is a large orange pumpkin, and you cut a face into it or other design, and you put a candle inside, and people will often decorate the front of their house. Sometimes adults have Halloween parties or costume parties at this time of year where adults actually go and celebrate Halloween as well. But of course, due to the current pandemic, many things just aren't happening that way. So great question, Aline. I think we should maybe, let me do a few more and then we'll end it. Next question is from Brian from Colombia. Hi, Bob. What does it mean to be someone on the verge? Thanks. When you're on the verge of doing something, it means that you're just about to do it. You know, you could say, he was just getting more and more frustrated, and he was on the verge of yelling. It means he was getting really close to becoming so frustrated that he was going to start yelling. Let's see here. Next question is from Sajad, who says, "Hi, Bob. How are you doing? I'm good. Thank you very much for your great lessons. You are welcome. My question is, what is the difference between I'm certain and I'm sure about something?" Well, I'm certain that I've never had over, no, I have had over 700 people. Never mind. I'm not certain about that. I'm certain that I'm going to end this live stream. I'm sure that I'm going to end this live stream soon. So they mean the same thing. When you're certain about something, you believe that it happened, or you believe it is true. When you're sure about something, you believe it has happened and you believe it is true. Well, hey folks, I'm going to wrap things up there. Thank you so much for watching this live English lesson. I'm sorry that I didn't get through all your questions. There's literally, I can check over here. There are, yeah, I think there's almost 40 more questions, so I'm not going to get through them all. Sorry about that. I should have answered the questions faster today maybe, but anyways, thank you so much for being here. The number one thing you could do to make me happy is you could subscribe to the channel, or you could just go watch a few of my videos. The more you watch my videos, the more YouTube tells other people about them. It's kind of cool. If you are a subscriber and you want to support me more, you could decide to be a member. No pressure, but if you want to support me, that would be great. You could give me a thumbs up. That's totally easy to do. There's a little button down there somewhere. You just click it, and then YouTube knows that you like what I did. So that's kind of a good thing. Anyways, enough about me. Thank you so much for being here. I hope your English learning is going well. I hope my lessons are helping you. I hope that when I spend some time answering some questions, I make the English language just a little more understandable for you. Thanks to Todd and Dave for moderating. Thanks to Rod, the Brazilian English teacher, and Brent from American English with This Guy, 2 English teachers who are regularly in the chat, helping you out as well. Thanks to the 2 of them for being here. And I usually, what else do I usually say? I say something like, oh, I'll probably have a nap today. I probably am not going to have a nap today. I have way too much work to do this afternoon. So it's one of the first nice days in a few days. And we have a few more things to get done here on the farm so that winter can come. By the way, it snowed just a little bit yesterday morning, just a tiny bit, and then it went away. Anyways, bye Madi, bye Norma, bye Corey J, bye Lolly Lolly, bye Panthera Nori, bye Sam the Taiwanese, bye Rod, Julia Olise. I'm getting people mixed up now. Hopefully I don't miss any names. Thank you all for being members, and then non-members as well. Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to go now. I'm just going to wave like a silly person, and then I'm going to click the end button. So bye. Have a great weekend. I am clicking the button. I just have to find it. My mouse is, oh, it's on my other screen. That's why I couldn't find it. Bye.